if you're in a position right now where you're avoiding foods and you're on medication and you're still not feeling well, then what's holding you back? Because at that point, how I was feeling, I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I see you like going for runs and living your life, and I'm like, well, I gotta at least try that. So, I mean, what's holding you back at this point? If you're not feeling well right now, give Sham a call. Have your 30 minute conversation. Read the Self-Healing Crohn's Colitis book, Colitis Crohn, whatever it is, and start it up. Start introducing some of these foods, and maybe you'll start feeling better. My first doctor the one who did my colonoscopy, they wanted to put me on Humira, and they told me that there's no other option. I never saw that doctor that day. After that day, after that, I went on my own journey. I ended up finding a different doctor, and he was super supportive, surprisingly, and he supported me throughout. He would give me blood tests whenever. Things have been good, and I don't really supplement with anything. I don't take anything, no meds. I just eat lots of fruit. I usually start my days with fruit. Lunch, sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's whatever I have, just whole foods. And I don't know, it's pretty easy. Once this becomes your lifestyle, it's lifestyle. It is what it is. Once you've gone through that change, and once it becomes your new life, then it's easy. Then you can go and not have to worry. I hang out with my friends all the time. I don't even think about the bathroom. I have better digestion than some of the people I hang out with. Once you're in this position, then it's great. But I do understand that it seems insurmountable when you're on the other side of the fence. However, even if you believe that this might not completely heal you, or maybe it's not work, maybe you're not willing to do the work, I would say that it's worth at least a try, a full-hearted try, to at least start incorporating some of the ideals. We know that fruit and plants are good for us. They build the microbiome. That's the base of everything. So just try to start incorporating. Maybe start your day with fruit. Every morning, start your day with fruit. See how that goes. Maybe you'll start to feel a little better and catch the itch and see where the ride takes you. But I do understand. I feel for you if you're in that position where it seems insurmountable. But just know I was on that side. Sham was on that side. Plenty of people have been on that side and taken the plunge, put their hearts into it, and come out the other side. Now we're running. I can run all day, no problem. I love it. I can go play soccer. I hang out with my son. I made a baby with my wife. Things are good. He's a healthy little boy. He's cute as hell. So life is good, and a lot of that is owed to you and your brother, and then the hard work that I put in. So if you're out there and you're on the fence, give it a try. Start slowly, and give Sham and Shuk a call.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. We have Nicholas here, who has been happy to share his story once again, to update how he has been feeling ever since he worked with us since 2018. I think it was in May, and that's when he started with us. And obviously he did the 6 months and obviously got better. And you can see his testimonial on our channel as well up here. But I thought we'd just talk about what his life has been like ever since he worked with us, and some of the challenges that he faced, and also what his life is like now and how well he's doing. So introduce yourself, Nico, and I guess talk about your experience with working with us, and also how it's been for you ever since you have worked with us for the many years that you've been living a life after Crohn's.
Yeah, so I started working with you guys back, like you mentioned, back in May of 2018. I had a rough couple of months. May, June, and then July was the toughest. But then pretty much right after that, it was like a miraculous turnaround. I went from going to the bathroom at the peak, 15 or 20 times a day. And then all of a sudden in August, I slept through the night one night. I woke up and I was just like, oh my God, I feel like a different person. And from that point on, I don't think I've gone to the bathroom more than 5 times in a day. Um, and I rarely think about it anymore. Still eat, still eat a very healthy plant-based diet, but life's been good. It's been 3 years now. Sometimes I look back and think, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, and how good does it feel when you're not on medications for sure, and you know, you've taken control of your health. You don't need a doctor anymore to kind of tell you what to do. And I guess the only reason you'd go see a doctor is for blood tests and regular checkups, I guess. And um, that's so amazing to have that freedom, and understand that if I put certain foods in my body, I'm going to be thriving. And not only have you been doing well, obviously on the health side, but performance, your physical performance or your physical activity. Talk about how you've just got back into running. I believe you used to do a lot of running before, and now you've got back into it. How does it feel?
So I wasn't a huge runner before. I would go running, but I was more of a soccer player.
Right.
I would play every weekend with my friends, and sometimes I was in leagues. Um, but then after I worked with you guys, it was just easy to get back into it. I do remember my first run after I was finally feeling better. I was like, I'm gonna go for a run. I couldn't even finish a mile. I think I did like I'll send you the Strava. The Strava. I think I did like 0.9 miles, and it took me about 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and I was just like completely wrecked afterwards.
Yeah.
But it felt good,
Yeah.
so I kind of stuck with it afterwards. And I was running like a couple miles here and there, um, lifting a lot, and for a long time I was just kind of exploring whatever fitness like felt right at the time. So I did some lifting. I actually bulked up a little bit for a time. Um, right around the time I went to Bali, I wanted to show off the guns. But then after that, I joined a running group in town, and I caught the bug, and ever since I've been on a tear. So that was 2019. I like started to dabble in more long distance, like over 5 miles, 6 miles, and then in October, right before my son was born, um, I decided to sign up for a half marathon in February. So leading up to that half marathon, I put a training plan together. And in January, I got invited to do a challenge. Whoever could run the most miles in the month of January would win the pot. It was like an office challenge. And I ended up running 186 miles that month. That was like the most I've ever run. I think the most I ever ran before that was maybe like 70 miles.
Yeah.
And I just knew I was just had this bug. So I ended up running the half marathon in February. Finished in 1:32:08. I was pretty proud of that. And then I trained all year. We got hit with COVID, and I couldn't go to my race, so I did it virtually. I did a full marathon in November at 3:40:08. And then even recently, I trained for a 5K. I was trying to do some speed work this time, and I PR'd my 5K, came in first in my race, and my time was like an 18:55, I think. So yeah, things have been good. And I don't really supplement with anything. I don't take anything, no meds. I just eat lots of fruit. I usually start my days with fruit. Lunch, sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's whatever I have, just whole foods. And I don't know. It's pretty easy. Once this becomes your lifestyle, it's like just like lifestyle. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I've obviously been getting into running as well a lot. And those times that he read out, I'll show you some of his Strava stats, and it's pretty incredible for him to be able to do that. That's a pretty quick time, and I think my fastest half is around 1:45, which is not slow. But with Nico's like 1:32, that's a solid effort, and especially when we've been diagnosed with an incurable condition that we have to be on medications for the rest of our lives, and here we are like just debunking these myths, and we're living healthy lives because we want to live this healthy life, and we want to be able to do these things comfortably and not succumb to feeling sick and having some kind of condition, and I think one of the things that I have noticed from the IBD community is that a lot of people that are sick bring other people down, and I don't know what it is, man. Like it feels like they just don't want to do what's required. I mean, we've got ourselves to this position because we work hard, we eat well, we eat healthy, we train, we exercise, and you know, it's pretty simple sometimes if you want it to be simple. I mean, you don't have to complicate your life and think that you're not good enough or you can't do this and you can't do that. And if you limit yourself, you're not going to get anywhere, you know. And I think we're defying that, and we're saying, look, you can have a life after Crohn's or life after colitis, you know, and you can do something about it. And obviously there's no magic pill, there's no magic diet, but if you do all the right things with your life, you are bound to see the results, just like we are, you know, being medication free and not relying on this stuff. So I've got to hand it out to you, man. And you've really, you know, made this happen for yourself. And what an amazing life that you can live. And this is going to continue. And it's not like it's going to stop or you're going to suddenly have any issues, because you are in control of what you put in your mouth, you know, and it's all determined by that, as well as other factors in your life, obviously with stress and family and other things. But I think you've got those covered, and that's it. You know, there's a whole sort of, well, that's why we talk about those 5 factors of, like, you know, food, exercise, sleep, water, and stress. And if you've got those 5 things covered, you're going to have a really good lifestyle. And that's what it's about, lifestyle. Like, you know, I mean, what would you say to that? I mean, I know there's a lot of, I guess, you know, issues with, you know, IBD, and how, you know, you've probably had conversations back and forth, you know, to people, and like, what do you say to those people? What would your advice be?
I understand where they are. They've been told by an authority that they have a disease that they cannot cure, or they cannot heal. So I do understand. It's also, even if they thought that maybe this could help them, they might not be willing to do the work at this time in their life. So if people grow up on a certain lifestyle, it's hard to change. The change is very hard. It's not like an easy thing to do, just to change your whole life in a flash. Once you've gone through that change, and once it becomes your new life, then it's easy. Then you can go and not have to worry. I hang out with my friends all the time. I don't even think about the bathroom anymore. I have better digestion than some of the people I hang out with. Like, once you're in this position, then it's great. But I do understand that it seems insurmountable when you're on the other side of the fence. However, even if you believe that this might not completely heal you, or maybe it's not work, or maybe, you know, you're not willing to do the work, I would say that it's worth at least a try, a full-hearted try, to at least start incorporating some of the ideals. We know that fruit and plants are good for us. They build the microbiome. That's the base of everything. So just try to start incorporating. Maybe start your day with fruit. Every morning, start your day with fruit. See how that goes. Maybe you'll start to feel a little better, and, you know, catch the itch and see where the ride takes you. But I do understand. I feel for you if you're in that position where it seems insurmountable. But just know I was on that side. Shan was on that side. Plenty of people have been on that side and taken the plunge, put their hearts into it, and come out the other side. Now we're running. I mean, I can run all day, no problem. I love it. I can go play soccer. I hang out with my son. I made a baby with my wife. Like, things are good. He's a healthy little boy. He's cute as hell. So life is good, and a lot of that is owed to you and your brother, and then the hard work that I put in. So if you're out there and you're on the fence, give it a try. Start slowly, and give Sham and Shuk a call. Like, even if you don't end up signing up with them, they have great knowledge. When I first called, you were the one that talked to me. I ended up working with your brother most of the time, but I talked to you first, and I just knew, I was like, all right, this is the path I want to go in. So, yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're on the fence, give it a try.
Absolutely. Some wise words there, man. And we all know how it feels to have IBD, and it's not nice. You know, we all know what it's like to suffer. And I think, like you said, man, if you give it all, you know, there's bound to be something that changes, and that little bit of change could make such a massive difference to you, you know, and to your whole life going forward. And I say to people as well, like, you've got nothing to lose, you know, and just give it a go. And I
Yeah, at the
guess,
end of the day, if it doesn't work, then you're back right where you started. But I can't guarantee you to get better. But I can guarantee you'll feel better for sure. I mean, it, it's just, I know from my own experience that you'll feel better from eating these foods.
yeah, and likewise as well, like from my experience as well, like eating fruits and vegetables, and there's nothing wrong with eating fruits and vegetables. I mean, there's a reason why fruits and vegetables are considered healthy. We're supposed to be eating these foods, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, and obviously, like people saying fiber is not good for you, and this and that, and that's another problem that we have, in the community, is that there's so many people doing all these different things. But when you go back to the evidence, when you go back to the science, plant-based diet is always going to be, it's going to be the winner. I mean, why would you not eat fruits and vegetables for your gut health? Like I don't see why people wouldn't be doing that, as a default. I mean, it's default for heart disease. Like, we can prevent and reverse heart disease with a whole food plant-based diet, and that's the number one leading cause of death in the world. So if you don't die of your ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease or colon cancer, you'll die of a heart attack. If you're not on a whole food plant-based diet. So the info is out there, and I think people just need to take it and put their health in their own hands, instead of relying on other people, or relying on specialists and doctors that don't necessarily give them an option, because
I
when I
will
went,
say,
yeah,
sorry, I will say that there are some good doctors out there. My first doctor the one who did my colonoscopy, they wanted to put me on Humira, and they told me that there's no other options. I never saw that doctor that day. After that, I went on my own journey. I ended up finding a different doctor, and he was super supportive, surprisingly. And he supported me throughout. He would give me blood tests whenever. Towards the end of, so right before I started feeling better, it was like the peak of me feeling worse, actually. And I had low iron, and he just, he didn't actually say anything other than, take a couple supplements and you'll be all right. So he didn't even suggest I change my diet. He was okay with what I was doing. And then right after that, I started feeling better. Another funny story is, last year I was in Connecticut during the pandemic. That's where I'm originally from. I live down in Florida now, but I went back to see my doctor that I had back in 2015 before I moved down. I went to go see that doctor when I was up there. And back in 2015, I was dabbling in vegetarianism. I was like pescatarian, and my doctor was like, I don't think, as long as you're eating a couple animal foods, because I don't think a diet that has no animal foods is good for you. Um, and then I went to go see her this time around just to get some blood work done and make sure everything was good. And I didn't tell her that I was plant based, but she saw all my results, and she's like, "Oh wow, you're like in perfect health. Like everything is spot on." And we ended up talking, and I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm plant based now. That's how I manage my Crohn's disease or my ulcerative colitis. And she's like, oh, she probably didn't remember this conversation from back in the day, but she said to me, "Oh my goodness, a plant based diet is great. Everyone should be going towards a plant based diet." And my father had cancer, and they told him he was only going to have 6 months to live. But we put him on a plant based diet, and he ended up living for an extra 3 years. So she really believes in it now, and it's just funny. Like, if some doctors are willing to change based on the evidence presented, and she was clearly against veganism and plant-based diets 4 years ago, and now she's putting her father on it and extending his life as much as possible. So that's just another little tidbit that I remembered.
yeah, definitely. And no doubt there are some good doctors out there, especially the ones that do promote a plant-heavy, diet, because that's what the evidence suggests, and doctors are going from evidence. That's what their job is, to have a look at the research and tell us what we should be doing with somewhat of a diet change. Obviously, they're not trained, and dietitians should be saying that. But when we go to the doctor, they are going to give us some kind of advice. And I think, when you look at all the evidence, I can't, go back to eating the foods that I did previously, because again, environmentally, ethically, it doesn't sit well with me anymore. And obviously with, animal protein being a risk factor for IBD. I mean, we should be talking about this, a lot, but it is what it is. And I think people need to make their own choices and decisions, but we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and keep on spreading the message. And obviously, thank you so much for sharing, your life, after working with us, and also many years after, dealing with your Crohn's disease. So that other people can find this way of life as well. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have Crohn's disease and are struggling, and don't know what else to do. So your story gives them hope and gives them a possibility of changing what they eat. So I guess, do you restrict any plant foods? You're eating a whole food plant-based diet, low in fat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really worry too much about my diet. I know what I like. So lots of fruits, like I said, lots of fruits in the morning. But in terms of like restrictions, not really. I don't go out of my way to avoid oils, but I don't include them in the house. So I'll have like oil, if I go out to like, there's a vegan restaurant here in town. It's like a vegan burger place. I'll go get a vegan burger every once in a while. Or I'll get some Indian food. I freaking love Indian food.
Yeah.
And handle it. I can have that for a few days and no problems. I don't, some people can't even handle it and they don't have IBD. I can eat Indian food all day. I don't like to go too spicy, but that's just a preference. But I feel like, a little bit of spice won't hurt me. We've made this buffalo tofu recently.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. A little spicy though, but it's good and I can handle it. So yeah, like I don't avoid soy. I don't go out of my way to have bread, but I don't avoid bread either. Like I'll have like sandwiches and we'll get like a sourdough bread from Whole Foods and we'll have like with avocado or something. But for the most part, it's just whole foods, starches, the usual. I mean, the usual, like everything that we learned on that's like the base of my diet is everything that I learned on your program. And then I just don't worry about, I'll have this treat here and there, but
yeah, absolutely. I think it's the perfect balance, man. It's the perfect balance. You have a baseline, you have a foundation, and you basically add to it according to your needs. And that's, going to be beneficial for you. And you're doing things for yourself, you're not doing things for others. And I think when it comes down to athletic performance, you might get a little bit more strict, but in the end, you're doing that because you need to train, you need to recover for what you need to. So I think balance is key here. But the thing is, you have to get to this point. You can't start off like that, So I think the groundwork that you did while working with us, it was why you're in this position, and you have that little bit of freedom here and there. And I think that's where people may not realize that you have to kind of go through this process and really heal the gut before you try and venture out and eat things that, have these other processed kind of foods in them. So, it's a perfect life, and exercising well, eating well, sleeping well, and managing your stress well as well. And if you do all those things, you're bound to be in a healthy state. And you and me are seeing that. I mean, we're seeing those results because of what we do every single day. The consistency is really key. And I would rather, maintain my disease with a diet than maintain my disease with a medication, and
and you're not even excluding anything really other than animal products, right? I mean, if you're in a position right now where you're avoiding foods and you're on medication and you're still not feeling well, then what's holding you back? Because at that point, how I was feeling, I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I see you like going for runs and living your life, and I'm like, well, I gotta at least try that. So, I mean, what's holding you back at this point? If you're not feeling well right now, give Sham a call. Have your 30 minute conversation. Read the self-healing Crohn's Colitis book, Colitis Crohn's, whatever it is, and start it up. Start introducing some of these foods, and maybe you'll start feeling better.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing your story so far. And long may it continue in your health and and even in your running goals and stuff. And, you know, my aim is to get to Nicholas's speed, and, you know, he's an inspiration for me, to do, you know, get faster. And, you know, it's amazing how he's been able to, you know, get so good at what he's doing, because of the food that he eats as well. And it's all about training and getting to your goals. And I think what's really cool is that when you relate your marathon training to sort of your healing journey, there's a lot of you know, things that you can take from both, because when you're training for a marathon, you have to do what's required to get yourself up and running and get out that door, you know. And same with healing, like you have to do what's required to kind of get your body up and running, you know. And so there's some really good, like, I mean, you can mix the two together, and that's why, like, we have this determination, because we've done it before in a completely different angle. But that angle of healing your body to get to this point is, you know, is huge. And so we take that and move forward, and we go, right, if I can do this, then you know, I can do anything, you know. And you just got to keep
It's
pushing
true.
yourself.
Yeah, I can run if I can get through that, I can run 26 miles, no problem.
Exactly.
Ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, they never really gave me which one it really was, but it was a lot worse than running 26 miles. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the amazing thing, because you've been able to come out of this and then run 26 miles, you know. And it's not everyone can do that, you know. Not everyone can run 26 miles, let alone have a autoimmune condition that you know, a lot of people do struggle with. So, you know, it's been amazing to do these things. And obviously for me as well, I'm coming up to doing a marathon soon as well, and I'm pretty excited for that, because, you know, I've never really been a runner. I've never really got into running except for the last, you know, year and a half, and I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, when Nico was talking about, you know, getting on the, you know, the running, when you do run, you get what's called runner's high. It's a thing, you know, and you want to keep doing it. And I think for those people that are, you know, healing or that are healed, you know, maybe find something that, you know, works for you, like it did for us. You know, running for me was a whole new ball game. I used to cycle a lot and I used to mountain bike a lot, but running just, you know, changed the game. It made me feel a lot better about what I was doing. And you know, it's so amazing when you can complete those achievements, when you can complete like a half marathon, for example, and then take it to the next level to be a marathon. Then who knows what's coming up, you know. Ultra marathons. After I see,
Well,
you know, my friend Josh, you probably follow him on YouTube if you don't
yeah,
follow him.
100 miler, man, impressive.
Yeah, after seeing him go through that, you know, he made it look easy. I couldn't believe it too. You know, I was there with him, but he made it look easy, and I was like, man, if this guy can do this, then we can do something like this. You know, at least, you know, get a half marathon, a marathon under your belt. You know, so he's definitely been a massive inspiration for me, and not only for me but so many others. So, you know, there's another client of mine called Alan. He just did a 1:23 half. He had colitis as well, and he's actually stepping up to do another 100 miler, or his first 100 miler soon, which is crazy. He actually wants to do sub 3 as well in Hawke's Bay this coming weekend. So good luck to him. But yeah, it's amazing
It's
what you can
funny.
do.
I see all these people, all of your clients, and these people that have gotten through colitis. They always end up like running marathons or lifting lots of weight or doing crazy calisthenics, and it's almost like you wake up. You're like, all right, my old life is behind me. Now it's time to actually start living.
Yeah.
So if you're in the healing process, or if you do decide to go through this process, or if you're just healed and you're starting to feel like, what can I do now that I'm healed? When I started, after I was healed, I started to try everything. Yoga, I started weightlifting, calisthenics, running. I got back into soccer. Just find what works for you. Find what gives you joy, and it'll make your life a lot easier. You'll have something to look forward to. Sometimes it's hard to get out there for the run, but I never regret it. Ever. Even today, when I went running at like midday and it was 95 degrees, and I got back and I was like completely overheated, once I cooled down, I was like, oh, that was great. I'm glad I went. So yeah, just if you're just about to heal or you're healing, you know, think about what you're going to do afterwards. Make some goals. It's important. It's important to have something to look forward to.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. And I think, you know, it's awesome to see that you're doing such a good job, and you know, keep going and keep doing what you're doing. And you have an awesome family now too, which is something else to look forward to. And you know, you're there for your son, and that's just, it's amazing. And you know, like, cherish these moments, man, and really make the most of your life going forward as well. And it's great to have you back on the channel, talking about your journey years after. So, you know, keep it up. All the best. And once again, thanks for sharing your story. I'm sure someone will take something from this, and maybe they'll change as well. And you know, inspiring as usual. But yeah, man, all the best, and we'll keep in touch and talk to you soon as well.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll come back in 3 years and I'll be talking about my, I don't know, sub 230 marathon. I don't know about that.
Oh
Maybe.
shit. That'll be epic,
Well,
man.
let's go sub 3 first before I start going
Yeah,
that crazy.
yeah. Sub 3 first, far out. Yeah, yeah, man. No
All right,
worries.
man. Nice talking to you.
You too, man. Take care.